Welcome back, everybody. As you can see, I got Dorothy covered up. You know what that means. Time for more painting. I had mentioned towards the end of my last video, I think it was, one of them, that I was looking at getting vinyl. I had a source. The source ended up being Newton Commercial, who are the guys that make all the interior parts and everything that I got all my interior from. I reached out to them via email and said, hey, would you guys be willing to hook me up? And they said, though they don't normally, they decided to this time. So great customer service, and you know, they went out of their way to reach out and make sure that this is what I wanted. So we're going to open this thing up here and see what we got. This should be about a yard. I think they sell it by the meter, but it should be about 1 meter of the stag pattern vinyl. Open it up and see how it looks. All right, and that definitely looks like what I'm used to. All right, I'll show you here. So that's the, I know it's not going to be real easy. Put something next to it to focus it, maybe. So you can kind of see that pattern and compare that to the seat here. You can see that that's just about the same thing. So that's a beautiful thing. So we're going to go ahead and use this. And this is going to be hopefully on the front of the dash here, and then the door caps, because I'm still not happy with the door caps. So there we go. Good deal. Got that done. And we'll move on to something else now. Well, there is the carpet. Pretty cool, pretty cool. So this the carpet goes in really easy. This is the molded carpet kit, again from Newton Commercial. I got this from Rimmer Brothers when Rimmer was having a sale. I know I've told you guys about the carpet. This is the molded stuff. It's more money, maybe even twice as much. It's been a little while since I've looked at the prices, but I mean, there is a method to putting this stuff in, and there is a right way to do it. And as far as the piece order goes, and it comes with pretty good instructions, just like the seat reupholstery did. But I can't emphasize enough on how much easier it is and goes when you do molded carpet. And all of the extra stuff that you would have. So it's there's still some fitment stuff to do here and all that kind of stuff, but these pieces lock right in. But the point for doing this is to look and see where I want sound editing and where I don't. So I'm going to go in here and mark some stuff on maybe putting some additional sound editing in up in the footwells. I just kind of wanted to see how far up the carpet went to see where I should start and stop my sound editing, because I really don't want that stuff showing through. The next thing, I got the last thing over there is the transmission tunnel. I'm going to put the tunnel in. You guys know the issues that I was having with that, and then put the carpet over the tunnel just to kind of get an idea of what that looks like, and see, try to fit the radio tower in, the old one. And I do have old photographs, and I was able to verify based on the way that it's cut that was Dorothy's. So I'm going to go ahead and play with that now. So that's kind of how the carpet's going to fit. You can see here, at least probably not very well, I'm sure it's pretty dark, but this flap here will go underneath. There's a certain, like I said, there's a certain order in which you do this, and I don't have the instructions with me, but it's my guess is this flap goes under, obviously, because this is trimmed here, that'll be on top. This piece back here for the heel board, it's got like a grip rubber thing that fits down over top of this lip here. I obviously don't have that in. I'll have to cut out a little bit for the trailing arm attachment points there. So now I'm going to try to put that radio bracket in. Wish me luck with this. Yeah, that's going to be fun. I'm not going to force it now. but like I was afraid of, the carpet definitely is interfering. So, like I said, I'm not going to play with it now. I don't want to mess anything up. I think as I go through and actually glue this stuff down and make it a little bit more permanent, it'd probably be better. But yeah, it is what it is. All right, so now on to getting ready for doing some painting. I think I'm going to leave the carpet in here just to kind of let it sit. There's also pieces here, like this guy here. I got the other one around here somewhere. There it is. This guy here runs on the, like this over here. Runs over top on the inner sill, but that's the extent of the carpet. Looks like one of those horror movies where they've got axes and hatchets and machetes like hanging in some dark garage or something. Everything's all wax and grease removed, ready to go. I got the everything hanging from that baling wire. This stuff is rebar wire, so it's got pretty good strength to it, but I still expect this stuff to blow all over the place, so I'm going to have to be careful there. I going to put 2 more pieces of wire on the bottom of the fender here, or on the bottom of the front valance, and provide some weight down, but I don't really have the time to do it over here, so I'm just going to grab the wire as I paint here and kind of pull down and give it some stability. But this guy I can't really grab at, so I do want to get some stability on that. Got the fan kicking, got the booth all, a lot more room in here, so hopefully it works out. Again, I got some bare metal spots, as you can tell, maybe on the front valance there. I'm going to hit those real quick, wait 30 minutes, and come through with the boost coat. So I'm just getting ready to paint here. I'm putting the unreduced epoxy into the paint cup. Strained it, and you can see that little black fiber in there. That's why you want to always use a strainer. My guess is that came from the paintbrush that I used to clean the side of the can off when I wipe the can down. So, important safety tip, always use a strainer, even if you're doing epoxy and paint that's, maybe you're not as concerned with the final finish on. Alright, got the paint reduced by about 25%. Going to go ahead and hit the hanging horror show over there, and then hit the front valance. Eric recommended that I bump the temperature in the garage up a couple degrees to try and help out with my orange peel and stuff like that, so I did. We'll see as this process goes through if it makes a difference. So thanks for the recommendation, Eric, and I will come hunt you down if it doesn't work. Welcome back, folks. About 7:30 on a Saturday morning. Back over to get red on this stuff. Unfortunately, overcome by events on the family front and the professional front. So I've got some sports commitments today, and unfortunately I got to go to work tomorrow, if you can believe that crap. So I'm going to pound out 3 coats of red on all this stuff in here. Got to get it all scuffed. I'll use a red scuff pad for all of that. 3 coats of red on all this stuff, and then tomorrow morning, after I get out of work, hopefully at a reasonable time, I'll come back and hit it with 4 coats of clear and get it wrapped up. Nice bright light. Got everything sanded down, cleaned up, wax and grease remover. I still need to tack off the stuff, but it's all wiped down. Got my testing board up. Got the floor mopped, and it's still damp, except for it's starting to dry a little bit, so I'll come back through probably after the first coat and re-wet it. So again, couple coats, 3 coats all the way around here, and that's all I'm going to be doing today. figure I'd show you this thing real quick. It's just a little case for your respirator. So it's got a little envelope or a little pocket up here. You can put these filters in there, whatever filters you want. There's not a whole lot of room in there, so you can't fit too much. And the respirator just kind of fits. There's a couple different ways it'll go in there. But it's just, you know, I think it was 14 or 15 bucks. It wasn't that expensive, but a little bit better, a little bit more resilient, and for keeping it, keeping it in a Ziploc bag. So I decided to invest. Keeps it, you know, keeps it a little nicer. All right, last coat. I'm going to hit the Valance first because I should have enough paint, but I might not. And I want to at least get 3 coats on the Valance. I'm not as concerned about getting 3 coats on these the miscellaneous pieces. So here we go. All right, welcome to Sunday, the 19th of January, about noon, done with work. That was fun. Now it's clear coat time. You can see I've got everything's, you know, in keeping with the horror story theme here, I guess. There's been blood splatter all over the place. So I got to do some cleanup in here and get some of this red dust off, get everything tacked down, but then get ready for the clear. I will do 4 coats of clear on the front Valance, but I probably am not going to do 4 coats over here. I'm not going to cut and buff any of this stuff. So in the interest of saving clear and the fact that I'm doing 4 coats to allow me enough mills to cut and buff, and I don't see that necessary here, I'll probably do maybe 2 or 3. So I'm on my last quart of clear, so we're getting a little close to the end. But anyway, you can see that the filter there, how bad that gets. We'll get it all cleaned up, get some paint mixed up, and get going. All right, getting ready for the first coat of clear here. A couple things I wanted to point out. One, I apologize for the light that's looking you right in the face. It's kind of messing up the saturation of the picture, so I need the light, so sorry about that. 2, you may notice that there's no more wires coming off the bottom of the front Valance. I found that when I was spraying the primer, the wires were scraping across the bottom of the Valance and scratching it. So I just took them off, and I can support it properly with just holding on to it. Just wrapped up the second coat. It's been about 15 minutes or so. I did, unfortunately, I don't know if you can see them in there, I did get some good amount of runs, unfortunately, on the first coat, but I'll sand through that. I'm not too worried about that. This next 2 coats is when I'm going to start hitting the hanging horror show here. I wanted to just point out, though it probably is obvious, when I'm doing uneven coats like this, uneven numbers of coats, all the pieces that are not getting the full-blown, you know, painting, I'm going to not spray them until the end. And the reason is because I don't want the fallout of the dust, what I'm calling dust, that the paint that's still kind of in the air. I don't want that to fall out on the pieces that are dry from the previous coat and then kind of they almost get like a rough sandpapery kind of feel to them. So these last 2 coats is going to be everything in here. I think I have enough clear. I shouldn't have to mix up any more, hopefully. But that'll prevent that fallout onto the horror show pieces and not you know, not get them all gritty and yucky looking. So that's why I'm doing it the way I'm doing it. All right, folks, last coat. I mixed up a couple more ounces just for a little peace of mind, but I'm confident that I'll have enough. You'll notice this time that I'm going to paint the little pieces first and finish up with the front Valance. That kind of piggyback on what I was mentioning about not letting the dust fall out. I'd rather the dust, given the choice, I'd rather the dust fall out on the little pieces than on the Valance. So I'm going to leave the Valance as the last wet piece so that I can make sure that that's going to absorb any dust and it won't fall out as much on that. And if it does, it'll still be wet enough to absorb it. So that's it. I'm going to go ahead here and spray this stuff down. All right, good to go. Well, I guess I wasted a little bit, but I'm glad I mixed up that extra 2 ounces. Thinking about doing Raptor liner on the underside of the bonnet, going back and doing it on the underside of the boot lid, looking for your guys' input. A couple of reasons for that. One, it's not going to be seen. It's kind of an industrial environment under there. That Raptor liner will probably hold up better than the paint will. Two, I've got the Raptor liner left. It helped me use some of that up. I'm getting a little low on the red, so that'll save me some red paint, save me some resources. And three, that would kind of keep with the motif on the inside of the boot, with the inside there, and on the firewall, and kind of everything else on the internal spaces that you're not going to really see. Anyway, just looking for your guys' input. Otherwise, happy the way this front balance came out and all the little pieces. Eric, that couple extra degrees, as far as I'm concerned, that works. I won't come hunt you down, so you're off the hook. But rapidly approaching 2,000 subscribers, so I appreciate everybody's help and support and continued tips and everything else, and watching the videos as I get closer and closer to putting Dorothy on the road. So thanks so much. Have a good rest of your day. Cheers.